Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you're all having a splendid day. Thanks for joining me, and today I wanted to take another look at the machine of Marley. I sort of briefly covered it in a previous video, but I've had a bit of a deeper look, and it's quite an impressive machine, and there's a few questions around it, what it was, what it did, who built it of course, and how it was tied in to the whole old world system, as far as fountains and aqueducts, canals, and basically water, getting water and water current maybe up into the old world cities and stars. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the machine of Marley. And this was shared in the comments. I'm really sorry I didn't get the name of the person that shared it. I'm just getting so much stuff at the moment. So thank you, and sorry if I'm not getting back to everyone. I don't have time to get back to all the comments. I'm trying to get through all the emails and everything. Yeah, so bear with me, but thank you to whoever did give me this link. This is the machine of Marley, and I mentioned this in a previous video. I think it was Star Fort's Canals and Hydraulics. And yeah, we have a bit more information on the machine of Marley here. So a couple of pics and a bit of information. So let's have a look here. So as you can see, I showed a pic similar to this. These seem to be sort of anchoring pillars that anchor the machine into the floor of the river. This is the water, and the idea is the water's flowing through here, and it's spinning wheels that are driving these pistons that are then drawing up water and pumping it up pipes to get it uphill. And of course, all free energy. This is an engraving of the machine when it was in use. I'm not sure what's going on with the wall here. But as you can see, it's just on the edge of the river. The river's sort of coming around. I guess that's why the wall's not there. It looks like it's broken though, doesn't it? The water comes through here. Oh, I'm not sure where it goes out. Maybe this is a catchment kind of area and it goes out the back, but this is the machine, and this all looks wooden as well, the sort of structure. Well, these, I don't know, maybe these wheels were wooden as well, who knows. But it does say later that this was built in the 1600s, and it was around for until 1960s. So I doubt it was just made of wood, in a river. I doubt it would last that long, but here you can see, yeah, the machine, and these are the pipes going up the hill. So it's pumping water up the hill to these stations that are then, I think this looks like it's pumping it further up to what looks to be a star city in the background. This is as far as I can zoom in, but you can see we've got a nice dome there. We seem to have spires and things down here, and completely built out city, and this is pumping the water up to it. This is a profile again, so these are the anchors, and yeah, as you can see, these are like paddle wheels, so the water's coming through. It looks like it's been sort of funneled up. You can see here, looks like they've tapered the riverbed up. Funneled it through here. This spins these wheels, and they again drive the pistons that suck the water up. So it's a pretty cool invention, completely free, like using the energy of the river flow to spin these wheels, which then turn the pistons to pump the water up the hill. So it's all completely free energy. So This is a bird's eye view here, and it says the machine of Marley is built on an arm of the Seine River. It consists of 14 wheels, each of 30 feet in diameter, the axles of which have 2 cranks, one which moves the pistons, which pushes the water into the pipes and raises it up to the first reservoir. The other moves a system of cross-arm levers which run through the length of the mountain top up to the highest reservoir. These cross-arms power the pumps which are in the reservoir and then pump the water from the lower reservoir to the upper one, and from there to the top of the tower, which is at the summit of the mountain, from where it runs over a large aqueduct which feeds different pipes to furnish all the waters of Versailles and Marly. Wow, the vertical perspective of this view is exaggerated. In the distance is the town of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. The 2 buildings along the left side of the river path still exist, as does the Chateau du Barry and the aqueduct in the upper left. So I think this may have been the picture it was describing. And yeah, look at the size of these. This was a big structure, and look at the size. These are like 3-story buildings down here. I don't think I can zoom in on this one. So what it's saying, the water comes through, turns the wheels, it pumps. There's 2 different sets of wheels, and as you can kind of see here, we've got one set here and one set here. So one is pumping the water up to the reservoir, which must be this one. Maybe that's used for something else, and another one pumps it up to here, and then it says that there's machinery down here that then pumps it up again and then up the water tower. So I guess it's all to do with water pressure. Very, very interesting tech. Like I said, all free tech. And so they pump it from the river all the way up to the top of a water tower, and then it uses gravity to feed it back down through the aqueducts and to get it out through the cities. I mean, that is just some cool old world tech there, isn't it? And of course in the background we have huge buildings. So the use of aqueducts are making a little bit more sense. And these water towers that we see everywhere. And I think a lot of these water towers as well have been retrofitted and made to look like sort of more modern sort of 60s, 70s towers, when they're probably the ancient water towers. So, how many of these machines were there? Is a good question. Details of the transfer lever system and the pumps of the machine of Marly. The levers driven by the water wheels power the remote pumps located at the midpoint reservoir on the hill, and the top reservoir at Chateau du Barry, forcing the water to the top of the aqueduct. There were a total of over 250 pumps in the system. Oh my gosh, so this is pretty high-tech stuff. Now, this isn't something you just build. So this is a reservoir of water, obviously. These are being pumped up and down, and so you can see these cylinders are empty, these are full. They're connected to something, obviously. I'm not sure how, but they're pumping water up into pipes, and then the same system is then on pumping it from the first reservoir up again. Oh, here we go. Here's a side view of the piston. So this is pretty, advanced engineering and hydraulics and everything, really. And they tell us this was built in the 1600s. So this picture's 1705. Where did I read it? Machine of Marly, it was known most recently, built in 1858. It was one of the replacements for the original machine of 1685, the original machine. So they're saying they've rebuilt it. 6 huge paddle wheels. So you can see the paddle wheels here. And the water just drives them around and they pump pistons. This is definitely metal. I don't know, do you reckon that's wood or do you reckon that's... Hard to tell. But yeah, I'd never really been taught about this in school, the machine of Marley. The array of pipes can be seen behind the smokestack of the steam machine. The service Facades Cloud Company still uses the pipes to carry water by electricity. What? From the wells up. So looks like there was also steam machines as part of this, maybe. A few more pictures of the machine of Marley. These are just engravings. So there was something there running continuously. And what was it? 1685. And down here it says the machine in the 1858 machine was still in use up until 1963, at that point being used to generate electricity. The building was demolished in 1968, considered an obstacle to navigation. After, 300 years it was suddenly an obstacle. Here's the old building, definitely an old world building there. And isn't it interesting that once again, as we see, this was a completely built and functioning machine, and it was free energy, and of course they tried to turn it into an energy machine that they could charge money for. This is the old steam house. As we can see, I've got a half window here, something's been bricked up. Lower levels, all the stuff. And a more recent postcard of the machine site, on which one can see across the river 2 of the original administrative buildings from the 1685 machine, and the steam-driven machine of 1811. So this is this is what they're telling us is 1811, and these are they're telling us is 1685. And these two, we saw these in that earlier picture, these buildings. I mean, this building looks older, if anything, doesn't it? Especially the architecture, but that's apparently the newest building. That's the story, what they're trying to tell us. So there you go, the machine of Marley, guys, a bit more. So it was a big, fully functioning machine, old world antiquitech that pumped water up the hills here, all natural, using the current of the river, up to these stations, which then pumped it up further up here into the city, where there was a water tower that it went into, and then that fed out into aqueducts using gravity to disperse the water across the city. All free, just free energy. I mean, perfect. And of course it was all destroyed. Tried to turn into something they could charge us for, and when that didn't work very well, they just knocked it over completely. So there you go, the machine of Marley, guys, a bit more. So it was a big, fully functioning machine, old world antiquitech that pumped water up the hills here, all natural, using the current of the river, up to these stations, which then pumped it up further up here into the city, where there was a water tower that it went into, and then that fed out into aqueducts using gravity to disperse the water across the city. All free, just free energy. I mean, perfect. And of course it was all destroyed. Tried to turn into something they could charge us for, and when that didn't work very well, they just knocked it over completely. So there you go. And so I thought we would have a look at the machine of Marley. And this is where it is. And look at that. It's definitely in Starfall country. We are in France. Paris is just here, Paris. And I mean, look at the layout of Paris. Okay, we've got one of these shapes. We've got a canal going straight through the middle and clearly a Star City shape. And this whole area just seems to be either one huge Star City or a sort of conglomerate of lots of them, because these shapes I've been pointing out that they do with the canals. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and sort of another one through there. And so you can see there's lots of stars there everywhere. There's one there. So we are in Old World City Central. So this is the machine of Marley. Down here. So as you can see as well, more of these islands that I've pointed out before in the middle of rivers. I had a look on some old pictures, and these cuts were in this island back in the sort of 1700s at least, so I'd say probably the whole way through. And yes, the machine of Marley. Okay, so here we go. Just ran across here. This is, you can see, we've got some original infrastructure still built in and out here, but they've basically turned it into a hydroelectric plant. I'm just going to change the, oops, there. Okay, now we've also got the buildings down here that we saw in the photos. I'll just jump on the street, see what we can see. Okay, so as you can see, there's some of the old infrastructure. And across there as well, we can see there's an old world, an old world wall, and behind there is an old world building. It's pretty hard to see though; it's all surrounded by trees. As you can see, I mean, there's this. Look at this thing out in the middle of the river, and these are the houses that were in some of those pictures that we looked at, and it looks like they're all being refaced, having a new facade, a new face add. Okay, so this is, yeah, the machine of Marley. How do I change that? No, hang on. Okay, so here we have the view. So yeah, the machine of Marley. This would have been, as you can see, we've got the foundations there of the old world structure. There are still buildings there. Actually, let's have a quick look. But see, you can see here up as well behind. This is where those pipes were running, up in these kind of areas. And yeah, so some of these old world buildings are still here. There you go, look at that one. And here as well, see there's been like a wall added or something there. So this is what they're saying is the new one that was added in the 1800s, I think they said. And these are all part of the old structure. These and this. And then of course old world buildings all down the road. So yeah, this they admit this is from the 1600s, this, and this 1800s is what they are saying. But let's just have a look at the area that this is all in. Sorry. Okay, whoops. Oh God, I'm not having much luck here, am I? Okay. So just take a look at
like the geomancy of this area. Okay, so these pipes run up here. You can see sort of this area where the pipes run up. Still nicely treed. And then we have this strange building. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Another old world building here, and see we have this shape that looks just like a baseball diamond. And they are everywhere as well. And you can see it sort of used to come out a bit further. It's been built into, you know, you can see tennis courts and stuff. This looks like it's now part of a, you know, health resort or something. Again, that's what we see a lot, is these, you know, gardens of types, sports fields, golf fields, all that kind of stuff built over. And as we come up, you'll just see there's just funny angles everywhere. Then we get all this geomancy in the ground. I think, yeah, it's just a sports field. This is an old reservoir, but look at the shape of that. How perfect that is. So that's a reservoir where the water from the machine of Marley was pumped to. There was another one. Is that it there? A small one down here. No, that's, oh my God, look at that place. I wonder if it'll let us look at that. No, it must be someone's house. Look at the size of that thing. I did see there was another reservoir around here somewhere. But yeah, basically that's where it pumped up to. And I mean, just look at this. Just look at this whole area. And this is how these old world cities were laid out. Just in geometrically. I mean, look, you can just see, you know, the circle there with the angles coming off it. These shapes as well, where they're long and they have funny bits at the end. Seems to be an arrow. I mean, it's just everywhere. Down here, you know, and there's remnants of star forts and stuff. I'm not sure what we're looking at down here. Maybe just the angles. Oh, actually, look, that does look pretty. A star 40. And then, let's just check out what these are while we're here. Not sure what's there. Might let us see. No, just bushes. No, but there's definitely, this place is definitely just one big fort. And what I'm looking for, because I'm lost again, oh my God, where's the river? There. Okay, so the water came up this way. It keeps changing direction on me. Very confusing. And to here, this is, so King Louis XIV. The story is that King Louis XIV built the machine of Marley to pump water to this. Now, look at the size of this place. This is the Chateau of Versailles, or the Palace of Versailles. And look, this is like, you know, a big city almost, and this palace is almost, well, it is, it's bigger. Almost. Maybe not quite. But look at this place. It's just complete geomancy. That looks like a golf course, is it, maybe? I don't know, something that's put over what's in the ground. But look, just look at these shapes everywhere. This is the stuff that we see in all these, you know, movies from the 16th century, you know, all these gardens they walk through that are beautifully set out. But just look at the, I mean, just look at that. That's ridiculous. And look, there's, oh my God, and it comes right out here. And this looks like it's just bush. It's just sort of manicured into these, you know, kept into these geometric shapes. And then here we have the Grand Canal. This was obviously part of where the water came up. Nice big cross here. See, this is the same shape that I just pointed out in the ground. But this is water. Keyhole at the end. And this itself, is this the palace? No, that's just more gardens. God, look, there's a pentagon. Just so many shapes. This must be the palace here. And again, look, see how the back of it goes back into this sort of, baseball diamond kind of shape. And they all even have the front bit on them. You can see it's been changed here, but the original shape's still there. So, and let's have a look here. So see how this is all one roof? And a nice big courtyard. I would say that's old world. These all look to be old world buildings. Oh my God, look at that. Looks like that arch that you see at the Vatican, the one that's covered, that's got pillars. I wonder if they are pillars. Okay, let's go and see what we can see down here. So I'd say these are old world buildings. Let's see how close we can get. Oh yeah. There we go. Just the stuff that we see everywhere. On this side, same thing. Old world buildings. Steps going up. This has all been refaced. And I'm not sure how close we'll be able to get to the palace. But can you see that building in front of us? Look at that one. Nice old world building. Now it's saying we've got to cross the street. What's going on here? I want to go to the palace. Hang on. Let's go the quick way. So, but look, oh gosh, see, look at that building there, and just the angles. This is just, oh look, there's two of those. Okay, let's see if we can get down in here somewhere. Oh yeah. Geez, they look different on the ground than they do from the air, don't they? Look at that. Curies de Roy. Look at that building. How much does that look like the Louvre? Just a bit shorter. And then on this side, up here, oh my God, look at the size of that. That is the palace. So, whoa. Okay. Oh my God. Look at, and look at this. I mean, that should be in Greece, shouldn't it? They tell us. So this is the Palace of Versailles. These are the buildings that they tell us were built for one person or one family. You can see the size of them, and of course their servants. And this is apparently what the whole kerfuffle was. And King Louis XIV, who lived here, this was just his summer. I don't think it was his full-time residence. This was just the log cabin by the lake. And so in the late 1600s, 78, 68, they just designed the machine of Marley to pump water up here, and it worked perfectly first time. And I've got a bit more information on that, of who apparently designed it. And of course they had designed one pump before, and then they got the job to work for the king and basically build the biggest pump in history that had ever been attempted, and got it right on the first go. So these guys were pretty good. But how's that? Just look at that. That is just amazing, is it not? It's nice that they show us there's trees in the garden, isn't it? Wow. So what was that really? Like, what was this all for in the old world? You can see it's almost like it's this huge building in the middle, or machine, or whatever it was, and it's kind of sort of funneling. See, out this, it's like a sort of, I don't know, is it pushing the energy out that way? Like, I don't know, through some kind of grid. Interesting how we have this water mirroring the land here. And I did try and find some of the aqueducts and didn't have a lot of luck. But I mean, again, look at all these buildings. Just look at the shapes of them. And just in the ground, like, for no particular reason. This is all New World buildings. You can see the lines. These aren't, see how they're not connected, so they're new. This, on the other hand, and look at the gardens behind it. I mean, come on, and look, that's a nice, the curve. You can see there's that shape appearing again almost. Just a little one. But yeah, this would be a very old world building. And then I thought we might just have a quick look at some of the stars that are around as well. Because this is Star City. Okay. And look, built right up off the ground. Look at the ground level difference there. And just, I mean, that's exactly the same construction and type of building as you see in Hobart. Pretty much. Looks like they've built through it, taken the middle out of it so they can drive through it. Look at this. They've done the same thing there. It's taken the wall out to make a car park by the looks of it. And this huge old world building, which we can't see. Look at this old world, the wrought iron that you see everywhere. So I can't see a lot of that. There's a lot of walls around here as well, I noticed. Old walls, but lots of hedges and stuff. And oh, there you go, look at that. Windows that look like they're pretty close to the ground. Pretty close, who knows. Alright, let's have a look at some of the stars, but I mean, just look at that. This is just so old world. Look at this stuff. And see, this is New World. This is how they lay it out now. They love their lines and their squares, everything to be symmetrical, but you can see that there's just still these traces of the old world cutting through it. And roundabouts too, these, in big cities, these big roundabouts, are they just these circles that we see everywhere? Just sort of converted. Alright, let's have a look what we've got around here. Again, just look at the shapes in the ground, or in the, the landscape, the cityscape. See, they're just everywhere, got diamonds and stuff. Here again, what are they? Are they just buildings? Yeah, okay, just built around a circle. Cool. And down here, again, and we've got a star here. I mean, it's very old world. I'm not sure if there's any, but look at all this. God, it's just everywhere, isn't it? Once you sort of have seen a few of these and you know what you're looking for, like, there's just traces of this old civilization just everywhere. Again here, see the cuts in here, in the forest. Now you get that a lot when what's happening is there's big brick walls under the ground. And so the trees can't grow on them, or you just get like, small shrubs growing on them. And so you get these lines in the trees. Oh, okay, a few different hills. Oh, there you go. But this, look at that again. And again, this is that sort of baseball field sort of shape. And this, look at this. This is that same shape we've just seen a few more times. And it looks like it's got one in the middle. Just rounded off a bit. What is going on with this place? Alright, let's just go have a look in here. See if we can get you a good star. Oh my gosh, look at the shape, look at the angles of all the buildings. What's down here? See, roundabout, that's what I mean. See how you see them like this? What are they? And that, see how it's sort of throwing out that shape? Very interesting. This is definitely old world. I'm not sure what that is or what it's supposed to be. I think that's probably what Victor's marked out. Let's see. So all these stars on this map, or on my Google Earth, whoops, did not mean to do that. Yeah, see these walls are everywhere through France. Nice old world building by the looks of it, but we can't see it. Yeah, so all these stars have been, oh my gosh, look at all this, have been found by Victor the Boogeyman. So check out his channel. What? Are they houses? That looks like a chipboard, a computer chip. Are they houses? Car parks, maybe. Car parks? Yeah, I think that's car parks. Oh my gosh. Look at that shape here. But I also just saw this. Look at that. Now that is a part of Star Fort for sure. That's not a good shot. Okay. Let's go have a look at that. Hopefully it's not completely, oh my gosh. We'll see what we can see. Okay, it's in there. But did you see that? See that shape and how it's, I don't know, it looks like, it's very hard to see, but it's just got that shape and looks like it's got a wall in there. Not completely sure. But this, like I said, this whole place, just old world. Like, just look at the shapes. Like this, look at the streets here. Like, look at these buildings. Oh my gosh. Oh my, okay, let's go have a look at that. Oh, don't tell me, what have they done? Is that new buildings? Oh, that so look like, look at the shape of that and the courtyards in it. And all this, that's strange. Look at this, in the shape of a cross almost with a, this, and so this is the thing, look at the shape of this. Why would you build buildings, if these are new, why are they being built in these shapes? These funny, funny shapes. That's really, I really thought they were going to be old world buildings. That's, what have they done? Rebuilt the whole area. Looks like it. Looks like new construction, doesn't it? Doesn't look like old world. That's just bizarre. I mean, and even look at just what's in the middle of that shape. That's bizarre. Another island in the river. Oh my god, that one's just covered as well. No doubt another palace or something. So this is, you know, what they call geomancy, which is basically just using geometry on the ground just to affect different energies in different ways. And here's, so I'm thinking these are probably all New World now, but just look at the shapes. It's like they've stayed with the old system. And then see how that's a big sort of star you can see in the center. And we have, what do we have down here? It's now just a big traffic sort of corner. But let's see how everything just radiates off it. And you just get this look of this old world city. But this, you know, obviously has been, you can see it's been chopped up a lot into squares. There's another radiating point. And if you look, they tend to be sort of everywhere too. You find smaller ones and bigger ones. I'm quite disappointed. I thought there'd be more old world buildings in there. What is that? They have some funky architecture. See, Paris are also, they don't build skyscrapers. I think their tallest building, I think it's about 30 stories, and it was built in the 70s, and it's so ugly. It's like brown brick. And after it was built, everyone declared that they would never let anything else like that be built in their city. So they've kept a lot of the old architecture, and they've kept their building low, but obviously it looks like they've changed quite a bit of it. Because look at all this. This is all New World, but how is the shapes of these buildings? I mean, that's not. That's nice old world. That's old world. Oh, this is old world. So I was wondering if they'd refaced them, but I don't, they all do. Check out the shapes of them. Just bizarre. Alright, so that we were pretty much in Paris then. So so the Machine of Mali, we've just sort of drifted over there. So you can see it's almost, the whole place is just connected. It's like it was one massive sort of star city that sort of exploded out into another star city, into another one. And the French dug it so much that, dug it out from the mud, that they just, have continued to build on the same geometry. Maybe that's why Paris is still the city of love, because they've got so much of this geometry in the ground that's affecting the energies. Look at this. This is just ridiculous, this place. Now, unfortunately, all this stuff, we are not allowed to see, as you'll see. So we can't get in to have a good look at this. We can stand at the gate and have a look, and look how big that area is. But if you want to just walk down the street and look in someone's window, you can do that. So all this, these massive, what we're told are palaces. Clearly they're more, look at that, nice big domes. This has all been re-roofed, you can tell. They've ripped the old roof off it. All the antiquity would have gone, but look, all the ground stuff. So, and did this tie in somehow? Like I showed before, how it looked like it burst, it looked like the geometry sort of burst out from the Versailles Palace. Were these big buildings, because they don't seem to have had bathrooms. So were they actually, houses, meant to be houses, or were they meant to be more like machines? Kitty has decided to say hello again. So were they more like machines, with all this geometry in the ground, and they were sort of collecting it and dispersing it out? I mean, I don't know, maybe under the ground or through just natural earth grids. The earth is a conductor. I don't know, when you look at a city like this, or an area like this, and you just see all the the geometry in the ground. There's, you know, you don't put all that work in and all that design just for nothing. And you can clearly see this place is just covered in stuff. So here's another massive palace. And again, look at these gardens. And always the same kind of shapes, isn't it? You know, just always the same. And then, of course, they've turned, you know, golf course and mini golf by the looks and old. Oh, okay, so that's fully motored. Interesting. And even there, see that shape there? Got the circle in the middle and all the bits radiating out from it. So again, what used to be in the middle here was, a lot of them are just roundabouts, but a lot of them used to have big statues and fountains and things in them. Imagine living in one of these houses. That'd be cool. Apart from the fact that it looks like they ripped the statue down. But yeah, see that shape just there. I mean, it's just everywhere. Here's another baseball diamond. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? That must be a runway. I have no idea what that is. Must be an air. Oh my god, I don't know. A lot of geomancy. Alright, so this is, yeah, France. So if you want to check this stuff out, just get onto Google Earth. And really, pretty much most places you go to in Europe that are cities, you're going to find traces of the old star cities. And, you know, sort of, all you do is look for the common sort of shapes that we find everywhere and investigate a bit further. See, this is just some random town, and just look at the edge of that. You know, what else? I mean, this is... got this in the middle. There's another one there with houses in it. Look at this funny shape. I don't know, it's just everywhere. Alright. I'm going to leave it there, but yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, all these stars, and these are, you know, some are citadels, some are just walls, you know, and bits of stars, some are things that look like there could be a star there, you know, some are sort of so confirmed, unconfirmed, and yeah, there is a lot of them. So Victor the Boogerman, Buggeman on YouTube, and he has a lot of stuff on star forts and Tartaria as well, so check him out. And as you can see, just old world city stuff everywhere. But yeah, they tell us that there's, I don't know, 50 or 60 star forts maybe, or, you know, what are they called? Bastion forts on the Earth. And as you can see, that's just Europe. They're all throughout Asia. They're all throughout the Americas. They're in Australia. They're in Africa. So definitely old world constructions, and they're even, you know, just in islands in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, get on Google Earth and have a look at what is out there. Even though they're trying to block lots of stuff, it's still there, and the remnants of the old world are literally everywhere and under our feet. Alright guys, yeah, I hope you liked that little wander through Paris, and yeah, I'm just going to do a bit more. I've got a bit more info on the Machine of Mali. The Machine of Mali was a civil engineering marvel located at the bottom of the hill of Louveciennes on the banks of the Seine, about 12 kilometers from Paris. Louis XIV had it constructed to pump water from the river to his chateau of Versailles and Mali. The construction lasted 7 years and was inaugurated in the presence of the king in June 1684. It was considered a wonder of the world at the time and may have been the largest system of integrated machinery ever assembled to that date. The thing was pretty cool. Here's a pic. As we can see, this is that inland island. It's on the side there. These are the two things we saw. That must be the aqueduct. That's obviously gone, but we could see where this sort of ran. And as you can see, it looks like they have all their trees and stuff up there in nice little shapes. Big spires. So 14 paddle wheels, each about 38 feet in diameter, were turned by the sign to power more than 250 pumps. And those pumps were forcing river water up a series of pipes to the Louveciennes aqueduct, a 500-foot vertical rise. In use until 1817, it was subsequently updated and rebuilt, so destroyed, or they didn't have the tech to, update it, keep it updated. Finally ending up as an electrical generator, of course, until 1963. Building was demolished in 68 when that arm of the sign was rearranged for navigation. Now a regional waterworks company owns the site and uses it with electric motors to pump water. So, I mean, all the old tech that was free and worked is just gone. The original Louis XIV machine included not just an enormous structure on the river itself, but sprawled 600 metres all the way up the hill, comprising pumping stations, holding tanks, reservoirs, pipes, and an intricate system of mechanical linkage. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. And an intricate system of mechanical linkages to power pumps on the hill from the water wheels below. Several accounts of the period describe the infernal noise that this all generated, keeping M. de Barry, Louis XV's last mistress, and her guests awake in her nearby chateau. Oh my gosh. Blah blah blah. 60 maintenance workers were employed to keep it running. Ran up the hill, aqueduct, and then it fed. But so basically, what it said is there wasn't enough water. King Louis XIV wasn't getting enough water to his palace at Versailles, so he built this machine to pump more water up and to fill the fountains because it was all on restrictions. And when he built it, he just used the water to build another garden and didn't really feed the fountains. And that's the story we're told. So here's a plan. I'll leave the links to these sites in the description so you can see the water's flowing down here. Here's a machine. Pipes run up here, up the hill. These are different pumping stations. These are probably the holding tanks, aquifers. And it went up into an aqueduct. And I think I have a picture here. So you can see it was a big structure. That's a big solid stone wall. Look what's up on the hill here. I mean, that thing, oh my god, that's huge. Look how far away it is. These were the houses that we saw and that actually looks like the one that they say was from 1850 a bit, but maybe it's not. And as you can see, this is all the pipe works, more pumping stations, so what, at least 4, 5 pumping stations, and up into an aqueduct, and then it ran across to the palace and supposedly fed the water system there by gravity and went down to all the fountains, but apparently the king stole the water. And here's a machine just anchored into the riverbed. Paddles turn the wheels and they turn pistons which pump all the water up. So pretty intricate machine really. Just whacked up, in 1648. There's a few more pictures here. Like I said, I'll leave the links. Here you go. So that's what we just had a look at on Google Earth. So you can still see bits of it. And you know, why has no one tried to construct something like this since, especially in third world country? And how awesome would machines like this be in Africa? And the thing is, I mean, you know, do we really think there was only one of these? I mean, we've got, you know, aqueducts everywhere. We've got all these fountains and that. Was this just one of the last remaining ones? Has anyone seen any machines like this anywhere else? Leave me a comment leave me a comment. So yeah, lots and lots. Now there was a bit here, I'll just see if I can find it. Yeah, just here, the chief engineer for the project was Arnold DeVille, and the contractor was Renicum Salem, after whom the Kai by the machine is now named. Louis XIV had a small chateau in 1684. Fort DeVille, as a reward for his work, built him, and certainly to facilitate service of the complex machine. This building is the core of what would become the Chateau de Barry, which eventually was given by Louis XV to Madame du Barry. She expanded it and later outgrew it, which led to the construction of the Pavilion de Barry. Oh my God, they just like to just have their stories of how they built everything, don't they? But how, and with, you know, what industry? You know, we just had a look at, you know, France, and all the pictures are here, but where's all the industry? Where's all the ironworks and brickworks and all these, you know, things you would need? And I was just looking for something. It's on the Wikipedia page. So if you go to the Wikipedia page for Marley Machine, you'll see it. I won't pull it up, but it says that, yeah, the guy who designed this machine, this Renicum Salem guy, basically this was his second project. So he'd done one little pump, and then he was commissioned to build this pump, you know, with, you know, what is it, all these pumping, 38 feet wheels, 250 pumps up a 500-foot vertical rise, you know, all connected to all these aqueducts and things. And yeah, that was the second time that he'd built any pumping system, and it was hailed as one of the wonders of the world, basically. He did such a good job. So, you know, it's the same story that we hear about a lot of people who, I think it was Tartarian Zephyr had a video where he showed the same kind of scenario of someone who designed it was the largest dome in the world, I think the largest copper dome or something in the world that's still standing. And yeah, he just, I've forgotten what he was. He had some trade, and then he just designed this and built this, the best dome in the world, and then never built another one. So it's a common story we hear a lot. And this is just the Chateau de Barry that was built apparently for the guy who built the machine of Marley. And as you can see, very nice old world ironwork there, everything covered, of course. These now, in a past video, I think it was my last one, I showed there was a picture of this kind of thing, you know, like the rotundas or bandstands, whatever they're called. And underneath it, it had actually a big machine, a big wheel, and it was connected to water. So are these part of the whole system as well? You know, the sort of theory I put forward was water, you know, were they using water to run a lot of machinery and things, and to turn statues and to basically get information out, you know, as well as maybe generating electricity from it, etc. But yeah, just, you know, this is just what was whipped up for the guy. And look at, you know, it's just completely covered, old world stuff, everything carved. And I was looking at a video this morning by Captain Kirk, his latest video, and he was showing inside some rooms from the 1600s. And I noticed just so many of the shapes are just so similar. It's all in the furniture, it's in the artwork, it's on the walls, and it's the same stuff we see in, the cathedrals, the fleur-de-lis, but those three, like the three-leaf clover kind of shape we see everywhere. It's just all the same. Alright, I'm going to leave it there, guys. So just a bit of a look at some ancient antiquitech, and just a bit more evidence that everything, used to be run properly. It was all free energy, non-polluting. And so we know now that we've got these machines, or at least we know that we had at least one. And they say it was, built in 1680, or running by 1684. It was up and running for well over 100 years. And it was pumping water up a hill, up 500 feet to an aqueduct, which was then feeding fountains. And as you saw in this chateau, we've got one of these. No doubt there will be many more of those around the area. And we also saw all the geometry in the ground. So what's all this, how does all this tie in? Is the water getting up there, getting out to the fountains and running certain machinery and things, and then are the buildings collecting energy, from the ether and somehow dispersing it out? So yeah, many questions still to be answered. Alright guys, leave me your comments, leave me a like, please share this content to help get around the YouTube algorithm. There's links in the description if you want to grab an autodidactic shirt, hoodie or other merchandise, and there's also another few links down there if you wish to support the channel. So thanks for spending some time with me. Have a spectacular day, and I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.